Hello world. My name is Klaus Hostel, and I'm doing 100 innovation keynotes in 100 days. Today is number 99, and the title is 100 Keynotes. Now is the beginning. Now, that may seem like a little bit of a weird title, but it's true. The reality is, it is now nearly 11 p.m. It's April 13th, 2021. It's not Friday the 13th, but it is April 13th. Tomorrow, I'm going to record keynote number 100 in this series, the last of the 100 keynote series. Today, let's talk a little bit about why number 99 is the beginning instead of the end. Well, the first point is this. The keynotes weren't created to be watched. Now, this may sound really weird since you're watching one of them. They were not created to be watched. Okay, let it sink in for a moment. It's true. If watching had been the point, they would have been much shorter. Some of the keynotes are like 25 minutes. Some of them are even longer. If I had made these 100 keynotes in 100 days so that people would actually watch them, I would have made them a lot shorter. Now, if somebody does, that's just great news, but that's not the main point. Point number 2, they were created to be done. That's a very, very different thing. So now that they're done, almost done, they are an asset, or they will be an asset in 2 days that can be used. Before, they were a project in progress, which is also fine. But in a moment, they will go from being a project to being an asset. That leads to point number 3, which is the true value isn't in the keynotes. If the keynotes are great, that's fine. You're watching this. Hopefully you get something out of it. But the value isn't in the keynotes. The true value, is in the 100 keynotes in 100 days. And that's there even if nobody has watched any of them. Now, don't get me wrong. If individual keynotes are good, if they resonate, if they make an impact, that's great. That's lovely. But that's not the main point. Point number 4. Because now they can be repurposed. Now they are there as this asset, and that means that they can be put into the blender, and they can come out in all sorts of nice forms. Come out as keynote teasers leading to the keynotes. They can come out as 30-second video snippets, just grabbing small golden nuggets. That should be doable to find some, hopefully. They will be turned into, or at least they can be, they will be. They are already being turned into full podcast episodes, written articles. Each keynote can become an article or can become several articles. They don't even need to be written by me. Visual notes. It's easy to take these keynotes and using some visual note-taking magic, take each of them and make it into a lovely one-page visual note. That's also something they can be repurposed as. Again, I don't need to be the one doing this. Somebody could do it, etc., etc., etc. So there are plenty of options because now they are there, like a book or a movie or a manifesto. They are a thing. Point number 5, they can be shared. If you, in the future, 10 minutes from now, 3 years from now, stumble upon a discussion where you feel, there's this keynote about Veblen goods and Giffen goods that Klaus made, and now somebody's discussing that. Share. They can be used by others. They can be used in teaching. They can be used in classrooms. They can be used in discussions. They can be used as examples. Maybe good, maybe bad. And they can spread, not just as individual talks, but as part of a whole. Because the whole is the 100 innovation keynotes in 100 days. And even if you're just putting number 37 somewhere, number 68, then that is still tied up to the whole and serves as a kind of as an entryway to them. Somebody might, and I've seen this happen already, somebody sees one of them out of context, not because they're following me on social media or they're a subscriber on my YouTube channel, just because one of them kind of dumps into their lap somehow, and they think, oh, this is interesting. Oh, there's more. And then they start kind of scratching at the surface and find out that this is one big iceberg that's hidden beneath the waters. So they will not just spread, hopefully, but can spread as part of a whole. Point number 6, they can be referenced. It is something that, or they, the thing is something that can be talked about. They're now an accomplishment. There's something that I can, if I wanted to, I could put it on my CV. I'm not sure it's going to help there, but there's something I can kind of put in my body of work and say, I've done this. It is a thing that has been done. Now, it's been done by me, but it could have been done by anybody, and anybody else can do something like that. But it is now an accomplishment. We're doing the individual keynotes. Well, that was fun. That was great. But it's the 100 days that is the accomplishment. That's like the package. They're also an ethos builder. More on that a bit later, but when I say ethos builder, they help by their simple existence, whether they're good or not. Let's not even get into that. But just by simply existing, they help build my ethos, my kind of authority or standing within several disciplines. Innovation, not the least. Because they're now a phenomenon. They're now a thing that exists outside of me. And that means, well, that they're there. Even if I'm not using them, they are there. Again, like a book, like a movie. Something that is on its own. Point number 7, they are an artifact. Yes, they're an artifact tied to a story. The story of doing them. And that story, the story of creating the 100 keynotes, of why the 100 keynotes, of what and how and for who and yada yada, that story can be used in many, many different ways. One of them, or maybe I should say many, because this is actually a point with many subpoints, is they can be used to sell other keynotes. Yes, that is obvious. I can take this and I can use this as a good thing in trying to sell other keynotes, especially innovation keynotes. I'm going to do that, of course. But it's not just keynotes. It can also help sell other things. Things like video setups. Oh, you did 100 keynotes. Could you help me with my video setup? Even though I'm not exactly an expert, there are some people, many people who are better than me. Some of them have helped me on the way. I still know a little bit. And I know a lot more than I did when I started out. And I've had quite a few people come to me during this process and say, hey, Klaus, you've got like a nice setup. Can you teach me how to do the thing with the slides like this? Can you help me with the lighting? What sort of microphone do you want? What sort of recording equipment? How do you put it on? What do you do the slide? All this sort of thing. So because I now have these 100 keynotes in 100 days as an artifact, it means that I can use them to sell things like video setup sessions. If that's not what I'm going for. I mostly just help out people for free. But it would be something I could do. I can sell something like slide building, because while not all of the keynotes have slides, quite a few of them do. And I've had people, again, this is things that have already happened, come to me and say, Klaus, you've got some pretty nice slides. They're simple, but they're effective. I'd like to learn your way of building slides, building PowerPoints. And this is actually a skill I use professionally already at quite nice levels. So this has just been something that has honed my skill in that. I knew how to build slides before, but this has honed my skills. And again, it has given me an artifact that I can tie it to. Public speaking, done 100 keynotes. Well, I've done a lot more. Let's not kid ourselves on that. This was not my first rodeo. But the fact that I've now done 100 in 100 days is a pretty good argument for why somebody should trust me to teach them public speaking. Even if they haven't seen any, they're like, oh, he's done 100 keynotes, so he knows a thing or two, right? Things like brand building. I may have done stuff on this and kind of work with this professionally before, but this is not exactly the worst sort of brand building, and I can use it to go out as a case and sell people, here's why you should do this. Let me guide you through the process. Here's how you can use it for your brand, to build your brand, to leverage your brand, to yada yada brand, because I now have this asset, this artifact to point to. And then there's things like productivity. Just like I can take this, book number 30, and say, I've now done 31, so this is not the latest, but being able to point to this and say, so I've done 31 books. This is number 30. Do you want me to teach you something about productivity? Do you want my help in coaching you as a productivity coach? And because I have those books as assets, as artifacts, then I have a pretty solid kind of track record in the productivity space. People usually go like, okay, you may know a thing or two. And this is the same. 100 keynotes in 100 days. Whether people like them or not, whether they watch them or not, it's pretty hard not to say, okay, that guy, he might know a thing or two about productivity. I'd be willing to go to his workshop or bring him on as a speaker or a consultant, whatever sort of thing. There's some ethos building there, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. These were just some of the ones I found interesting, but there's more there that can be tied up to this. Point number 9. They're now a model. I'm not the first person who does like 100 and 100, not by a long shot. I'm probably not even the first who's done 100 keynotes in 100 days. Maybe not even the first who's done 100 innovation keynotes in 100 days or put them on the interwebs. I don't even know that. Maybe I am. But the point is now there's a model, and I could take that model and somebody can copy it. I can copy it doing something else. There have been jokes at home about, okay, what's the next 100 keynotes going to be on? Those jokes were short-lived and nobody laughed. Somebody can copy this. Somebody can say, oh, interesting, I'm going to do 100 keynotes on this or 100 this on this. It can be tweaked. They can change it. It could be 50 and 50. It could be a year and a year. You get the point. The basic formula is not my invention. Hell no. But it's something that if people have seen it here, they can easily take it and use it for their own purposes. They can adapt it, tweak it, adapt it, copy it, and it can be taught. Because, of course, there's some stuff behind the model. There's some thoughts, there's some mindsets, there's some processes, there's some tips. So if somebody comes to me and says, Klaus, I see you've done these 100 keynotes, these 100 innovation keynotes in 100 days. I'd like to do something maybe a little bit like that. I'm in genetics, or I'm a vertical farmer, just to take a subject I really am fascinated by. And then I'd say, you know what? You want my help? Because I might be able to help. And then the person can say, yeah, I'd like that. Because while it's easy to just copy the idea, it's simple. It's not it's not exactly trademarked or anything, right? It's not necessarily easy to just intuitively grasp some of the stuff that's gone on behind the scenes. And here I'm not talking about the physical setup or that sort of thing, but like how do you train yourself for this? How do you actually get it done? How does it go from being an idea to reality without killing you? Or without killing you too much, which I think is the reality I'm in right now. So that's point number 9. Final point, number 10. I'm going to get a little bit philosophical here at the end. Not a lot, and I often joke when I say something philosophical, I'll say blah, 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 philosophy or bullshit, discuss. But in this case, it's not bullshit. A little bit of philosophy. This could easily be seen as an end. This 99, tomorrow 100. It is an end. It's an end of this project. Yes, sure. It's an obvious way to look at it. But it's also a beginning, not just of all the stuff I've said. Yes, of all that. But of things like more family time. Because, I'm going to be honest, these keynotes, even the short ones, they take time. They take time to prepare. Some of them take time to conceptualize, which is before preparation. Then they need to be recorded. Find the time for that. Then they need a little bit of editing. Some of them quite a bit of editing, some of them less so. Then there's mistakes, then there's trickery, then they need uploading, then they need the post to go with the uploads, yada, yada, yada. More family time. And I really look forward to that. More sleep. It's about 11 p.m. right now. I wish it wasn't. More sleep is something I'm looking forward to. More freedom. not having this deliverable every day. And some people have, oh, but Klaus, I guess you just do like 5 in one day and then you're set for that week. Yeah, I wish. I wish that was the case. And if I'd just done this project, if this has been like my main project and not something I did next to all the other crazy stuff I do, then probably not the case. And let's face it, this is going to be the beginning of more bad ideas. Because who am I kidding, right? I am that sort of person. It's not in my DNA, but it's definitely in my personality. Who am I kidding? This is going to be the beginning of more bad ideas. But before that, there's one good idea. And that is now I'm going to go and help Sue put Sagar to sleep before it becomes even later than it is.